sunset time here in Bonita Beach, Florida. And we're driving towards the sunset and towards Fort Myers Beach. But we'll be on the beach. And while we do that, like the description says, we'll be listening to Caroline Leavitt give her press conference, which includes Kash Patel, and he's going to talk about the latest on the fentanyl crisis. So, hi Sandy.
It strikes me it's very important because that's shutting down the money, all the dirty money. Think of all the dirty money being shut down.
Yep, dirty money go bye-bye. So, I think this is very important, the news that we're going to get today. Hi, David. So without further ado, I will turn the camera around so you can see us driving towards the sun, which has just set, but sunset after party begins right now.
It must have been behind clouds.
Yeah,
it
was.
Didn't do anything crazy.
Yeah. No, but it's beautiful.
It is, but...
All right, let's go.
We didn't miss much.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for being here today. We are going to get to my remarks in Q&A as always, but I do have the FBI director with me here, Kash Patel. You all know him well, and he's here to provide an update for you all with respect to China. As you know, President Trump had a very successful meeting on his trip to Asia with President Xi, where they discussed the need for China to crack down on fentanyl production and distribution, which ultimately makes its way here to the United States of America. And the FBI director recently traveled to China following President Trump's meeting to meet with his counterpart in Beijing. And he has a really positive announcement for the American people to share. So the president wanted me to bring the FBI director out to share that with all of you today. So Kash, please, thank you for being here.
Thanks, Caroline. As Caroline mentioned, we have some tremendous news thanks to President Donald J. Trump once again for the American people. As soon as the President of the United States took office, he issued a mandate to rid America of the scourge that is fentanyl, a drug that has killed hundreds of thousands of Americans. Thanks to his leadership and direct engagement with China, we set up a framework to execute that mission 8 months ago. Attorney General Bondi immediately thereafter took steps to engage her counterpart in China at the Ministry of Public Security. Pursuant to their direct discussions, as the FBI director designated to run counterpoint on this, along with the Secretary of State Rubio and Ambassador Perdue and the team here at the White House, we set forward a path to implement the policy needed to crush the plague of fentanyl. Deputy Attorney General Blanche and our teams have been hard at work ever since, ultimately culminating in my trip to Beijing last week. This was only possible due to President Trump's historic engagement with President Xi just a few short weeks ago that set the stage for today's announcement. At that meeting, the leaders reached an agreement. But just to put this in frame for the American people, a reminder here that nearly 100,000 people died of fentanyl overdoses just last year alone. Here, this year, under this president, the FBI has seized 1,900 kilograms of fentanyl so far. That is a 31% increase from the same time period last year. To put it in perspective, that's enough fentanyl to kill 127 million Americans. Fentanyl precursors are what makes up fentanyl. While we, the interagency, the Department of Justice, have been fighting hard to seize and stop drug traffickers, we must attack fentanyl precursors, the ingredients necessary to make this lethal drug. That was the sole purpose of my trip to China, to eliminate these precursors. And if successful, we would suffocate the drug trafficking organization's ability to manufacture fentanyl in places like Mexico. This was the first time an FBI director has been to China in over a decade and received the audience with his counterpart to address this matter directly. And again, thanks to President Trump's direct engagement with President Xi, the government of China committed fully to my engagement there on the ground in Beijing at a level never seen before. While at Ministry of Public Security headquarters, I met with my counterpart at MPS, where the Chinese government agreed on a plan to stop fentanyl precursors. What does that mean? The People's Republic of China has fully designated and listed all 13 precursors utilized to make fentanyl. Furthermore, they have agreed to control 7 chemical subsidiaries that are also utilized to produce this lethal drug. Effective immediately, essentially, President Trump has shut off the pipeline that creates fentanyl that kills tens of thousands of Americans. These substances are now banned, and they will no longer be utilized by the Mexican drug trafficking organizations or any other DTOs around the world to make this drug. This historic achievement has saved tens of thousands of lives. This historic achievement would not have been possible without the tremendous team of President Trump, the Attorney General, the Department of Justice, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and Ambassador Perdue in China, whose ground-level engagements were imperative to achieving this result. This is yet another example of how President Trump defends the American people, provides security for the American people, and puts the American people first. This is a historic first-in-its-kind achievement by any president to stop the scourge of fentanyl, and it should be championed by every single American. This achievement will save lives. We are thankful for President Trump's steadfast leadership, and this FBI will fearlessly follow in his footsteps to ensure that this mission of safeguarding the American public is achieved every single day. Thank you. Thanks, Caroline.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Wow. So that's really good news. And like Michelle just pointed out, stopping the pipeline to drugs like fentanyl is a very good start to stopping the deep state. And, you know, speaking about drugs, I want to say this about drugs. Hi, David. I have been researching things about, wait, let's, you guys need to look at the beautiful sunset that's developing in front of our very eyes. We are driving towards the beach, so it's going to get prettier and prettier the further we drive north. And the beach is currently, is it to our left? It's right there.
It's straight ahead.
We're straight ahead. The beach is straight ahead. We are driving to, we're in Bonita Beach, driving towards Fort Myers Beach, on the beach at sunset.
We haven't made the turn north yet, though. We're still heading directly towards from the east to the west.
Okay, so anyway, I do want to acknowledge the fact that the downfall of any society is drugs. So if you're young and you're watching this, I beg of you, never go near drugs. Drugs of any kind. Even Tylenol, we're finding out, is more dangerous than you could even imagine. So just try to stay away from all drugs and alcohol. And I promise you, your life will be a lot better for it. That's what I have to say about that. Okay, we're going to go on with the press conference, which I promised you and Caroline.
Okay. Thank you again, Director Patel. Before we get going, I do have one quick scheduling announcement. Tomorrow, President Trump will be joined by the First Lady in the East Room for an executive order signing aimed at expanding opportunities for education, career development, housing, and other resources for young people transitioning from foster care to adulthood. This is part of the First Lady's Fostering the Future efforts, which are a Be Best initiative. In other news, the Democrats dragged on the government shutdown for 43 days, the longest shutdown in U.S. history. But tonight, thanks to Republicans, the White House is very hopeful that this shutdown is going to come to an end. The damage caused by the Democrats with this reckless government shutdown cannot be forgotten. It is entirely the fault of the Democrat Party. Just look at the vote count. Hundreds of thousands of federal employees have missed their paychecks. Tens of billions in wages and benefits were withheld, impacting vulnerable families. Millions of low-income Americans missed their SNAP benefits. Nearly 20,000 flights at airports across the country were delayed due to staffing shortages, causing Americans to miss family events, vacations, and work obligations. According to Airlines for America, an estimated 5.2 million travelers have had their flights disrupted over the course of the Democrat shutdown. and our economy has lost billions and billions of dollars in economic activity over the course of this shutdown, hurting consumer sentiment and crushing the travel and hospitality industries. According to a CBO estimate, the Democrat shutdown could end up decreasing fourth quarter economic growth by 2 whole percentage points. The Democrat shutdown made it extraordinarily difficult for economists, investors, and policymakers at the Federal Reserve to receive critical government data. The Democrats may have permanently damaged the federal statistical system, with October CPI and jobs reports likely never being released. And all of that economic data released will be permanently impaired, leaving our policymakers at the Fed flying blind at a critical period. It's hard to recap all of this without asking a simple question: why? Why have the Democrats put the American people through this pain for 43 days in a row? And it feels like Groundhog Day being up here again talking about this Democrat shutdown. And the answer to that question is politics. They started this shutdown with a ridiculous forced taxpayer-funded healthcare benefits to illegal aliens who broke into our country. Even after it was clear President...
Okay, so we are at Bonita Beach, and you can see the sunset after parties in full swing. Oh my gosh, this is the cutest thing I've ever seen. Look at this guy with his little kid. Look how cute is that. That is a real father-son we're witnessing there. Look how cute they are. That was precious. Oh, that was adorable. Anyway, just point that out. Everyone's happy at the beach. This is one of the reasons why I love the beach so much. It is truly the happiest place on earth. You don't see kids on their devices too much here. You see them laughing and playing and swimming and digging and creating and learning and loving. This is why we love the beach. Anyway, the news is pretty crazy these days. Of course, the government is back online. And apparently the longest shutdown in the history of our country was all for nothing. And that's what the Democrats got out of their antics. Absolutely nothing. And for the rest of us, if you can't see what their agenda is by now, then there may be no hope for you. But the rest of us are pretty tired of it. And, you know, it really is sad to see a group of people and you guys need to be watching, not me, watch the beach.
Are we on,
We're on YouTube.
Oh, okay. I didn't want to be preaching to the choir, but...
Oh, well.
The reason they continued to say, oh, it's illegal to give insurance to illegal aliens. Well, yes, it happened in the Big Beautiful Bill. Just a couple of months ago.
They gave insurance to illegal aliens?
They took it away.
Oh, they took it away.
In the Big Beautiful Bill.
Yeah. So they want it back.
They wanted it back before people figured out what they had to succumb to. But the only people who lost it were people that were here illegally.
People that don't deserve it.
Funded buku bucks to...
Yeah. David, you know I graduated from Ohio University. I don't know if you knew that. But Ohio was not my favorite state. Sorry to say. I just, the weather is so extreme in Ohio. And, you know, I live in Florida for a reason, and I've lived in extreme weather my entire life, being born in Denver, Colorado, which unbelievably is the sunniest place in the country. I don't know if you know that, but Denver has more sunshine days than any other state, I believe. If I'm wrong, let me know, but this is what I've heard. So yes, bobcats. I am a bobcat, David. I am not particularly proud of my university, however, and the way that they treat conservatives who are visiting the campus. Just recently, Caitlin Bennett, again, I think for the second time, was treated like absolute garbage. And I am very disappointed in the Bobcats of Ohio University. They have gone full on woke, and conservatives are not welcome at Ohio University. So I actually just got a phone call from OU, as I do every year, begging me for money as an alumni. And I don't answer those phone calls because I would never give Ohio University my money. Yeah, it's just beautiful. So I guess I got to get out. Hi, Jasmine. Jasmine's got to go to bed. Sorry, Jasmine. I always seem to come on when you are getting ready for bed, but you go to bed rather early, isn't it? Like 6
Where
hours?
does Jasmine live?
She lives in England.
Oh.
Or maybe she's going to bed really late. It's
Yeah.
late, right? Is it like midnight there, Jasmine? Can you give us a time stamp on yourself? Yes, Hakuna Matata, indeed.
AM, PM.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to
I don't, if
take
you walk very far, are you?
I'm gonna.
No, you're just directly connected.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, no,
You
it doesn't
can't
matter.
do
No,
more
it's fine.
than-
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, exactly. But good thinking. Okay, let's go to the Gulf of Mexico. Let's go to the Gulf of Mexico. Hey, yo, to the Gulf of Mexico. I'm sorry, it's not the Gulf of Mexico. What am I talking about? It's the Gulf of America. Oh my goodness, I'm living in the past. Ooh, ooh, what a beautiful after party sunset we have. Gosh, that's gorgeous. Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. Boo, boo, boo. Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. Boo, boo, doo, boo, boo. I hate to leave you. I really wanna stay. Oh, good night, sweetheart. Good night. Boo, 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 boom. So beautiful that is. Beautiful pelicans. I know it's really windy, you guys, and I do not have. Oh, maybe I do have my microphone. Let's see if I do. I took the fuzzy thing off of it. I don't know. I don't seem to have it. Look at that. Beautiful Bonita Beach, Florida. Hey, Donna. Got a stunning sunset. Look down there, you can see Sanibel Island. And the little beach birds. What's your weather like now, Sandy? Yeah, we got some choppy waves. And it's cold. Oh, I heard about the Northern Lights, Stuart. I heard about that. Oh my gosh, Starla, were you reading my mind? I was just gonna say, you know what? I was so exhausted last night. My facial made me very sleepy and very relaxed. And I think my skin looks pretty good. For those of you who don't know, I had a very intensive facial yesterday that was like, it was like a full body massage, but it was really just my my face, my head, my neck, my arms. That's all she did, but woo, it was amazing. It was so great. So yeah, feeling really good after that, especially after my fast and and preparing to turn 60 just about 2 weeks. So super excited because I'm gonna have a fun birthday party with some of my favorite people, including people on here. So raise your hand if you're coming to my birthday party. And I do mean also you can come to my birthday party because I will be broadcasting it live, but you have to be a member, so you have to get my membership. So I thought I heard something weird. Anyway, so hurry up and get a membership. Like, what am I doing? That you want to see this instead, so that you can come to my birthday party. See those shenanigans. Stuart's coming to Bonita. Oh, I'm going to Marco Island in December. Could have been a drone. It sounded like it, didn't it? I don't know. But anyway, yeah, if you want to watch my birthday party live, then you'll have to join my members group, and I hope you think about it. It's not that expensive. It's under $5. So I'd appreciate that, because I will not tolerate any trolls at my birthday party. So if you want to watch my birthday party, make sure and get your membership. It's good for a whole month, so you're covered. And my party is on the 29th of November. We're going to have a lot of fun. All right, it is really cold out here, you guys. Woohoo! I'm going to get back in the car. Would you like to hear the speech or the press conference from Caroline? We're going to keep driving, and so you can see the beach going all the way down to Fort Myers. So if you want to hang out for that. Yeah, shark tier only $7 exactly. And it's not a ton of money. You tip a waitress more than that, right? I know, Sandy, it will warm up. You know what? It got cold so fast it can get warm that fast too. Sorry, I forgot my gimbal. All right, but we're getting into the car, so we're gonna, what's happening here? Well, no, we're gonna play the rest of the press conference. So it hasn't changed, right? Okay, hold on. Oh, did I even take that with me? Okay. All right, drive on, Jeeves. Actually, it's funny. When I was a child, my mother, there were 3 of us in the family, and she was the official driver for the 3 of us as we turned into teenagers in the early 1980s. And she would drive us to the ice skating rink, or to the movies, or to the mall to meet our friends, or wherever we wanted to go. She would drive us. So there was this famous movie. Those of you who are Gen Xers will always remember the movie Arthur. In the movie Arthur, there was a butler, and his name was Hobson, and Hobson would drive Arthur everywhere. To the bar, to the restaurant, to the hotel, everywhere Arthur wanted to go, Hobson would get him there. So we started calling our mother Hobson, and we would say, to the skating rink, Hobson. And then we would say, home, Hobson. And Hobson would get us home. Hobson would get us everywhere we needed to go. She was the best. So I guess you're the Hobson now. we shortened it to the Hob, and our mother, really, all of our friends called her Hobson. Everybody called her the Hob or Hobson, and she loved it. She loved being the Hob. So this one's for you, Hobson. To the beach, Hobson. Yeah, you don't love the mosquitoes, David. Oh, but the fish do. Everybody's here for a reason, you know. Even the mosquitoes are here for a reason. Or as my husband used to say, the mosquitoes are actually what keeps the Everglades undeveloped. The mosquitoes guard the Everglades from development because nobody wants to live there. Remember, Zuckerberg actually put something like millions of mosquitoes into the Everglades that were supposed to mate with the mosquitoes and make them not able to
shorter
have babies or
lifespan,
something.
I think was the
Stupid. I don't know. I don't think you should mess with Mother Nature like that. Don't mess with it. It's getting pretty dark. Mosquitoes are here in the snowland. A fairy tale. Oh, there are. Where are you, Hermo? Anyway, I'm going to put back the Caroline.
Trump and Republicans would never force
LEAVITT.
American taxpayers to pay for free health care for illegals. In fact, President Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill fixed that problem. The Democrats kept dragging this reckless government shutdown on for weeks longer to boost their turnout in an election, perhaps one may guess. That's because the Democrats are totally captured by their far left-wing base, who only care about attacking President Trump, even if it means hurting innocent Americans in our country.
Wow.
They don't
The
want to
Democrats'
have that
weakness
debate
and
in
their
public is
unwillingness
why
to
they
buck
wanted
the
to do
fringe
it
members of their
behind
party
closed doors.
dragged this harmful shutdown on for 7 weeks and inflicted.
Right. That's what Michelle just said was the reason that the Democrats didn't want to be in front of all of us was they wanted to do their debating not in public. They wanted to hide, and so that we wouldn't know that what they really wanted to do was continue to fund
Wanted a backdoor
programs.
deal
And
for $1.5 trillion.
Wow, that's a lot of money.
Does anybody even know how much money that is anymore?
No, apparently not. I don't know how much $1.5 trillion is. That means nothing to me. It means nothing.
Somebody find one of those. If a million matchsticks.
Oh yeah,
is this
reach to the
many,
moon.
Then how?
I don't know. Does it even matter? The thing about money, it's like you're gonna die and all the money you ever had means nothing to you. Or here's something else. Imagine that you're having a great life, you've got millions and millions of dollars, and suddenly you get sick and nobody can figure out what's wrong with you because the doctors never seem to know anything anymore, and they just want to prescribe you drugs and keep you on them until you die. So anyway, they can't figure out what your problem is, and the next thing you know, it's over.
It looked like it was.
And all the money in the world didn't save
vibrant,
you.
But apparently, it really wasn't.
I don't know. It looks really pretty, but yeah. I don't want to go back out there. Are you suggesting I go back out there? Okay, good.
No, I just
Because
wanted
it's cold.
This was a place to sit if it was really like.
Hey, Bo. Hi, LaDonna. A local church sent a large supply of mosquito nets to Africa. Malaria is a serious issue there. Well, that's true. Yeah, mosquitoes are a vector for disease, and that's true. But again, God made the mosquitoes, so there must be a reason for them, am I right? I mean, if God made them, they're here, and it's something we have to deal with. You are here, Count. You're on the beach report. Everybody's here with me. Driving down the road from Bonita Beach to Fort Myers. And you can still see remnants of Hurricane Ian and the destruction that hurricane did
Turtle lights.
3 years ago, and the orange turtle lights so the turtles don't get confused. Instead of going towards the moon, they might be tempted to go towards the bright white lights. That's why you see a lot of orange lights here at the beach at night. Donna says it smells like a blowing out birthday candle outside. Well, that's not a good sign. That sounds like fire. Donna, look how pretty it is here. You can see a plane over there coming in for a landing. Yes, the amber lights. Pretty. On the road to Fort Myers Beach. Well, I don't know what the candle... I went out, I came back. Can you see? Can I get a sound check? A video check? I'll go out again. How are we doing now? Can you see? Let me know. Look how pretty. I know it's so dark, but that. Anyway, yep, it's our first cold snap here in South Florida. Yeah, cell towers. Swinging from the cell towers. That's what we do. Go in and out, Bo. Come back. Alright, anyway, I'm going to play Caroline some more.
Did massive pain onto the American public. But let's be clear, the clean CR being voted on today in the House of Representatives that will lead to the reopening of the federal government is what President Trump and Republicans have supported from day one. Our troops, air traffic controllers, and federal employees will be back to receiving their regular paychecks. Families in need will get back to receiving their food purchasing assistance, and the people's government will soon be back open for business. President Trump looks forward to finally ending this devastating Democrat shutdown with his signature, and we hope that signing will take place later tonight. On another matter, I want to address the issue that's received a great deal of media attention. That's ironic because it didn't when Joe Biden was here and inflation was at a record high 9%, the worst inflation crisis in modern American history. And President Trump won a landslide election in part to address the affordability issues created by Joe Biden and the Democrats. And that's exactly what President Trump has done since day one of his administration. Since the first day in office and every day since, the Trump administration has taken aggressive action to fix the Biden-created cost of living issues. The notion that same Democrats who just shut down the federal government to sabotage our economy, rob people of their paychecks, and also helped Joe Biden ratchet up inflation to 9% are now suddenly affordable champion notion is completely absurd. And it's something only the liberal media would have the gall to push. But the reality is that President has done so an
all right, what were you saying, Michelle?
Nearly every month was 3% or 4%. Trump's at 1.5% now. It's cumulative. The highest month was 9%, 3 and 4 and 3 and 4 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 9, added up to 25% overall that our prices changed during the 4 years of Joe Biden.
Right.
25%.
That's crazy.
So, yes, we're feeling the pain. Put in another Democrat, get another 25%.
Yeah, please stop electing Democrats. They wreak havoc and then they blame everybody but themselves.
And they're just seeking power.
Yes, power.
They're not trying to help.
And corruption. They seem to be totally corrupt.
Well, I take that back. They are trying to help keep the illegal immigrants.
Right, because of the corruption. It's the only way they get elected. Because the rest of us all see through them. And how do I know this? Well, because President Trump was elected. And that's all the proof that I need. Okay, back to Caroline.
Increase the economic prosperity of the American people, and this president and his team of amazing economic advisors are going to keep working on this issue every single day. In less than 10 short months, President Trump signed the largest middle-class tax cuts in America, including no tax on tips, overtime, and Social Security, which will guarantee that next year Americans are going to put more money back into their pockets. The president has completely unleashed American energy dominance to help bring gasoline prices to the lowest in 5 years, and we expect them to continue to decrease. And it has also lowered energy costs overall. There is more work to do, but again, the president's deregulatory and pro-American energy agenda is absolutely going to continue to drive down prices. This formula worked in the president's first term, and we expect that it's going to work again. And this is key because we know energy costs are the #1 driver of inflation. Again, just look at what Joe Biden did to our energy industry over the past 4 years of his administration, and look at what happened to inflation as a result. Everything became more expensive. To lower prescription drug prices and healthcare costs, the president has been working around the clock on negotiating
in the House of Commons, saying that the broadcaster remains a light on the hill for people. Does the president feel that the network is taking the situation seriously? Does he believe that they've shown sufficient regret? Does this strain the relationship between the president and the prime minister? And given that the organisation is publicly funded, is the president prepared to bankrupt the BBC in his pursuit of truth and justice?
Well, thank you, Bev. There's a lot of questions in one there. I will say I know the president has a very good relationship with Prime Minister Starmer. You have been there.
Thanks,
and
Darla.
You've seen them in their interactions. You've questioned both leaders in your time joining us when we've gone to the United Kingdom a few different times now. However, he has always been very frank when he disagrees with leaders, even whom he has a good relationship with. And the BBC, being a fair news organization, is definitely an outlet. I think these two leaders would disagree. The president has made it very clear that this is a leftist propaganda machine that is unfortunately subsidized by British taxpayers, and he thinks that's extremely unfortunate for people of the United Kingdom and Great Britain.
Okay, let's talk about the BBC quickly. As a card-carrying member of the media, that's right, I graduated from journalism school in 1987 from the Scripps School of Journalism at Ohio University, and was with the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette for at least a dozen years as a freelance, but full-time. I worked full-time. I did not get treated as a full-time employee, which is fine with me because being a freelance writer afforded me the ability to own all of my own articles, which is how I wrote my book. Do you think about me? No. Sorry, my book, Like It Was Yesterday. I wrote 2 books. The first one was Like It Was Yesterday, a journalist's file since 9/11. And that book was written out of articles I had written for the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, among other publications from 2001 until 2015. So no, I'm gonna be 60 in 2 weeks. Matt. 60 years old, my goodness. Born in 1965, one of the first Gen Xers, behind Darla Clean-Smith, of course, who is older than I am. So that makes her the first Gen Xer. No, we wear our age proudly, like a banner. Yeah, you're a boomer. You're gonna be a boomer if you're born before 1965. Nothing can change that. But yeah, we Gen Xers, we're a different breed, and we're proud of it.
It used to be a cool thing.
It's still a cool thing.
We used to be
Michelle.
Proud to
It's
be
a
boomers.
boomer. Oh, you mean before we came along?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Sorry. It's the way it goes. It's the way it goes. You better believe I love America and President Trump. He is the only person alive in this country who had the not just the capability but the ability and desire to do the job and get it done. Nobody else would do it. President Trump stepped up. I'll never words can't express my gratitude to this man for putting everything on the line and what he's done for my country and your country.
Everybody else triple.
Thank you, Darla.
Quadruple. Nancy Pelosi does better in the stock market than anybody in the world.
Yeah. But you know what? Here's the thing.
Trump loses $1 billion.
Right, but I think
about
President Trump knows that it really isn't all about the money.
I think he does.
You know, you can't take it with you.
I think he had it long enough. It was like,
yeah. So, Darla, thank you so much for putting my website, jillbooks.com, out there for anybody to please check it out. You know, I don't sell anything but my own products that I make myself. I am a writer, a journalist, an editor, and also a publisher of other people's books. So if you would please take a look at jillbooks.com and notice a book on my website called Still Standing, which is written by Joshua Daniel Hayes. And Josh has gone through a lot in his life, and his first book, and I'm working on his second book right now actually, but his first book is about horrific child abuse, and it is written for people who have also gone through child abuse and or are going through child abuse, to show them that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. But I think that his book is important because it teaches people like me who cannot imagine such child abuse what it looks like, and how sometimes you might see a child and not realize that behind the dirty exterior and the messy hair and the dirty face might be a very, very sad story, and you might be able to help. So that's funny. I was talking about Still Standing. Trump is under more pressure than any president, and he doesn't seem to flinch. Doesn't even flinch. I know, William. He is just amazing. He is a really a great man, a great leader, and somebody who will go down in history as having saved the United States of America. Because if it weren't for him, can you imagine if we had that cackling fool as our president, what she would be doing to this country right now?
oh, the Christmas lights.
Oh, the Christmas lights. That's right. It's almost Christmas time. You can get all 3 books on my website. You know, I've got to do a bundle for Christmas. I want to get Still Standing into as many hands as possible, too, because that book was published by my company, jillbooks.com. That would be me, the one-woman show. And I did it as a way to help Joshua to support his own family. So all proceeds from the book Still Standing go to Joshua's family so that he may support his family. And also when he's healing right now from surgery, but I hope that very soon he does start becoming a speaker, because his book is really very important, and he does need to become a worldwide speaker. Boza Gen Xer. And David says, David was born in July of 67, the summer of love. Grateful I woke up this morning, not digging this getting older gig. Well, you know, it is all in how you see it. I love getting older, David. I think that there is nothing more wonderful than waking up every day as I look at my 60th year on this earth and think, hey, like the book, like Josh's book says, I'm still standing, and not just still standing, but I have great faith that these are the best years of my life. I have a lot of wisdom. I've been through a lot. I've seen a lot. I mean, heck, I've lived through when I was a child with black and white television. Think about that. Think about the way kids
horrible.
are. Well, oh my gosh.
Color TV
Color
was
TV.
so awesome when it happened.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just so crazy though to imagine that, our childhood was in black and white. That's what my children used to think, that when I was a child, because I would show them pictures of me as a baby and they were all in black and white. And they were like, Mom, where's the colors? And I said, well, back then pictures were black and white. So my children believed that we lived in a black and white world, that everything was black and white until like the 70s, and then it became colorful. So they were convinced that Mommy grew up in black and white.
Where do you want to go?
We just go over the bridge, go home. What, did you have a plan? No, I'm still exhausted. So what about you guys? I am feeling the change of the season. I don't know if it's the cold or the time change or what it all is, but wow, look at this place. It's packed. The Whale. My goodness. We're about to go past, right now we're going past Margaritaville. Wasted away again in Margaritaville. Searching for my lost shaker of salt. Some people claim that there's a woman to blame. Now I think, it's all my own damn fault. That's Margaritaville right there. I put on my flip-flops, stepped on the pop top. Then the cruise on back home with that blues in the blender, and soon have a render. That frozen concoction that helps me hang on. Alright, anyway, I'm not remembering all the words. So Donna says I still wake up early in the morning, and I figured just go with it, get some housework done, catch up on stuff. Same. And they do seem to be spraying stuff in the sky again. There's that. Yep, we noticed it. All right, well, we're going over the famous San Carlo Bridge that goes to Fort Myers Beach. Only we're not going to Fort Myers Beach. We're going off of Fort Myers Beach. And this is what it looks like. All right, you guys. Well, I am going to say ciao for now. Do we want to hear? Do you guys want to still hear Caroline? Let's listen to Caroline. There's more. We're still driving, so.
Yeah, there is more.
Yeah.
I think that the president was deeply concerned by the editing, the purposeful and dishonest editing of his speech that was so clearly fake news. And he rightfully dubbed that term many years ago. And this is a classic example of that. We see it in the United States all the time.
Fake news, BBC, fake news. That's sad.
As you know, the president's external legal counsel has filed a lawsuit against the BBC. We expect that to continue. And whether they apologize or not is up to them. Thanks for being here, Bev. Lydia.
They don't need to apologize. They just need to be done.
About the new Epstein emails that have been released by House Democrats, separate from why you believe the emails were made public, can you address their substance? Did the president ever spend hours at Jeffrey Epstein's house with a victim?
These emails prove absolutely nothing other than the fact that President Trump did nothing wrong. And what President Trump has always said is that he was from Palm Beach, and so was Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein was a member at Mar-a-Lago until President Trump kicked him out because Jeffrey Epstein was a pedophile and he was a creep. And this email you refer to with the name of a victim that was unredacted now and has since been reported on in this room, so I will go ahead and say it. Virginia Guffrey. And it was CBS's own reporting, Ouija, that recently wrote that Miss Guffrey maintained, and God rest her soul, that she maintained that there was nothing inappropriate she ever witnessed, that President Trump was always extremely professional and friendly to her. And so I think it's a question worth asking the Democrat Party, and you should all go ask them after this briefing.
All right.
Of why the
I got to stop it there quickly, too, because here we go. We start with the BBC that edited President Trump on J6 of all days with the false narrative that President Trump somehow instigated a riot that was not instigated by President Trump, but was a total lie. And the BBC was in on it. Okay? That is reprehensible. They owe the American people and indeed the entire all watching public more than an apology. They need to just put down they're done. They're done. They're dead to me. As a journalist, the BBC, I thought they were really great. When I lived in Switzerland, I would watch the BBC. Oh, what's going on there? And think that, that I was actually watching real journalists. Now, not so much. So, so we go from the BBC, but then you see the first question is a lie about Jeffrey Epstein, about President Trump being involved. And I really got to give...
The press, by and large, has decided they have a right to run the world.
Yeah,
and
with lies.
Things the way they
slander and lies.
Things to go. And that's just our right, and how dare you call us out on it?
Like, I feel like there needs to be real world consequences for these journalists that lie with impunity.
Yeah, that's not right. Well, he's probably going to win this lawsuit as well.
Yeah,
If he was so bad and doing all, why does he keep winning? Why do they keep overturning all these lawsuits?
What is really the most upsetting to me as a journalist, I see my profession is in the toilet, and I see how hard Caroline has to work to defend this man, our president, and he gets absolutely no respect from the media. They treat him as just an enemy, straight up enemy all the time. And they're 24/7, and their questions are disrespectful.
They don't have to collude. They're like a hive mind. They just think
they're a hive mind.
Immediately
exactly.
They go to it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Twist
they don't,
connive.
right. I mean, we start the BBC and they immediately jump into another fake news story. So I just got to say, they will not stop. And if you're still watching mainstream news, shame on you. Everyone needs to turn them off. You want to cancel culture, anybody? Cancel culture, the BBC, NBC, CBS, MSNBC, CNN, and all of them. I heard CNN was bought by somebody good, but I don't know. They all just need to stop. Anyway, everybody who is being paid as a journalist today, and I say everybody, and I'm not one of those people, because I don't get paid for my journalism.
Go watch the movie Hamburger Hill and tell me who the CBS journalist is at the top of the hill that's been giving away their location for days and days. Any guesses? Anybody? Can anybody in the chat tell me which CBS big time reporter did that?
Who?
I'll spot you, Dan. Dan Rather.
Dan Rather. Oh, you mean somebody who used to be above reprehension, above reproach.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy. Well, it's despicable, all of it. Dan Rather.
Once he was a star, he didn't even go down. He got thousands of men killed in those few days.
How much money did he get is what I want to know. What? How much was he bought and paid for?
Top paid journalist of his time.
Yeah.
Yep, up there perched on the high perch, broadcasting to everybody.
As a journalist,
Location of our men.
as a journalist who works basically for free now, I don't work for free. I work for the passion of my job, and I'm not covering any kind of hard news or really, anything. I'm just doing it from my heart. So you guys are the ones that I'm reporting for. They're saying you need to speak louder.
Oh, we'll tell them what I said.
I don't remember what you said.
Oh, damn.
Oh, damn.
They'll go watch the movie Hamburger Hill.
Oh, she says to watch the movie Hamburger Hill.
When they get to the top of the hill, there's a frickin' CBS reporter up there. It's been broadcasting how they're trying to take this hill, their location, their movements, their numbers.
In other words, the CBS reporter is Dan Rather, so he's a traitor. I mean, he's like a spy.
Yeah, he played innocent. Give me a break.
Yeah. David says, it's a real shame the haters in media have been after President Trump since day one. God bless America and God bless President Trump. Amen. Thank you, David. Amen.
He's a unique personality indeed, but he knows what he's doing.
He knows what he's
quit
doing.
Second guessing him.
And
that's what Republicans always do, is they form a circular firing squad soon after the honeymoon and start, no, he needs to do it this way, he needs to do it this way. Just let him do what he needs to do.
Yeah, as if they know anything, because they clearly don't.
You don't know shit. You know nothing. Shut up.
All right, we're going back to...
Support your president.
Exactly. Going back to Caroline.
Chose to redact that name of a victim who has already publicly made statements about her relationship with Jeffrey Epstein and is unfortunately no longer with us. Mary.
Thank you, Galen. 2 questions on this. In the interest of transparency, why not just go ahead and release the full files on
What
it?
answer?
Get this off.
That's
Well,
Virginia Giuffre is the one that they tried to redact her name and put it out there.
Exactly. They tried to tell us.
Well, knowing she's already testified under oath, Trump did nothing.
Right. That was the answer. I don't want to listen to it again. Okay. I'm going to keep going.
This administration has done more with respect to transparency when it comes to Jeffrey Epstein than any administration ever. In fact, this administration, the Department of Justice, has turned over tens of thousands of documents to the American people. We are cooperating and showing support for the House Oversight Committee. That's part of the reason you are seeing these documents that were released today, because of the House Oversight Committee's and Republicans' efforts to get these out to the public. This administration also moved, the Department of Justice also moved to unseal grand jury testimony, which we know, unfortunately, a judge declined those requests. So this administration has done more than any, and it just shows how this is truly a manufactured hoax by the Democrat Party. For now, they're talking about it all of a sudden because President Trump is in the Oval Office. But when Joe Biden was sitting in there, the Democrats never brought this up. This wasn't an issue that they cared about because they actually don't care about the victims in these cases. They care about trying to score political points against President Trump, as we have, of course, seen with this government shutdown. And this entire thing, again, it's not a coincidence to the American people at home. There are no coincidences in Washington, D.C. And it is not a coincidence that the Democrats leaked these emails to the fake news this morning ahead of Republicans reopening the government. This is another distraction campaign by the Democrat and the liberal media, and it's why I'm being asked questions about Epstein instead of the government reopening because of Republicans and President Trump.
But given your interest in transparency, Caroline, why are White House officials then meeting with Representative Boebert in an effort to try and get her to not sign this petition calling for the release of the files?
Doesn't it show transparency that members of the Trump administration are willing to brief members of Congress whenever they please? Doesn't that show our level of transparency? Doesn't that show the level of transparency when we are willing to sit down with members of Congress and address their concerns? That is
it's sick that she has to keep fighting them on this. Shut up, no one cares.
Congress about various issues, and I'm not going to detail conversations that took place in the situation.
Merck's talking about the
Reagan.
Jeffrey Epstein stuff, Darla.
Thank you. I'm glad someone does.
That's what important.
The shutdown reverses the administration's reps, and it also prohibits war from happening until the end of January.
He's right.
I'm wondering if the president had
Or she's right.
of the deal.
Hi, Holly.
At all disappointed that's going to reverse the downsizing of during the shutdown.
I mean, look, I think it's about 6,000 workers total. When you look at that in comparison to the reduction in the federal workforce that this administration has done since January to get rid of the waste, the fraud, the abuse, and to reduce the size of our federal bureaucracy, we've done a lot of great work on that front, and we will continue to. But obviously, the president's main priority was to reopen the federal government, get people back to work, and that's what this deal accomplishes.
There's been reports in Israeli media that the U.S. is considering building a temporary military base on the Gaza border. Can you confirm these reports?
So I had a conversation directly with the reporter who wrote this article, and this article was based on a single piece of paper, an inquiry that somebody in the Department of Navy made about an idea that may happen in the future. And this reporter deemed that as an official plan and ran with a story that the United States looking into it. I checked with the highest levels of the United States federal government. This is not something the United States is interested in being engaged in. It's not something we are currently involved in right now that we will be funding. And the president has been very clear he doesn't want to see boots on the ground with respect to what's happening in the Middle East. We've made great peace. We've made great progress with the peace plan in Gaza, and we want to continue to see that move forward. But I put a comment in that story for a reason. And sometimes we see reporters take a piece of paper like this and just deem it as official policy, and sometimes that misleads people a little bit. Sure.
There's been a question about UK intelligence sharing regarding the drunken traditions involving cocktails militaries. How will that affect the U.S. military operation? There's been a lot of discussion about the high caliber of the intelligence that has been provided before any of these military actions have taken place.
I've seen that report. Oh, hello. I've seen that report. I'm familiar with the reporting, but we don't comment on intelligence matters. Intelligence matters, as you know. As for the Trump administration's position on our narco-terrorist campaign in the Caribbean, it is going to continue, and the president has made it very clear he's not going to allow terrorists to bring illegal drugs that kill American citizens into our great country. Sure, John.
Yeah, the Democrats are fighting for the drugs and the drug lords. Good job, guys.
About sending $2,000 checks to U.S.
Tell you
citizens.
everything you need
Earlier
to
this
know.
year,
Oh,
we
wait,
also
listen
talked
to
about
this.
sending a Doge dividend.
Are we
That
gonna get money?
materialize, should U.S. citizens expect a $2,000 proposal? Is the White House committed to making that happen?
The White House is committed to making that happen, yes. And we are
Woo!
certainly exploring all legal options to get that done. I don't have a timeline for you or any further details, but I can confirm for you that the president made it clear he wants to make it happen. And so his team of economic advisors are looking into it. And when we have an update, we'll provide one. Solon.
You said at the top that the cost of the government shutdown was that people missed their SNAP benefits. Can you explain then why the administration went to court to fight the funding of food stamps and SNAP?
Maybe I was wrong about Merck.
Recipients missed their SNAP benefits because the Democrats shut the government down. And they forced the administration to tap into a contingency fund that did not even fund the full entirety of this program. And so then you had an unhinged judge who was trying to dictate from the bench what the executive branch has to pay for and where that money has to come from. That is judicial overreach at its finest. And so that's why the administration pushed back on that. We can't have the judicial branch telling the executive branch that we need to rob the Children Nutrition Fund, which is what this judge was trying to do, to pay for SNAP benefits. That's completely inappropriate and it's unconstitutional, and we've been proven right with that legal argument. But now the good news is, again, thanks to Republicans and in several hours, President Trump, the government is going to be reopened, and SNAP recipients are going to receive their full benefits, which is what President Trump has always wanted to do. Stephen.
Why also did you need the judicial process for that? I mean, during the shutdown, didn't the administration have a responsibility to tap into any of those reserves to ensure that essentially
we did. We did tap into it. We did tap into the contingency fund. And then the judge told us, no, you have to get more money from a children's nutrition fund. And we felt that was judicial overreach. He shouldn't tell the president which fund he has to rob because the Democrats are holding the country hostage by shutting down the federal government. Stephen, go ahead.
Well, if the president is considering a pardon for Ghislaine Maxwell.
Again, he's answered this repeatedly. It's not something he's
Stop
talking about
it
or
already.
even thinking about at this moment in time. I can assure you of that. Stephen.
Caroline, I've got two questions.
I hope
about
it
you
happens,
for you.
David.
Sure.
First,
You always do.
Mayor-elect.
Ran for the New York Post.
Mayor-elect Mamdani, he said that he plans to reach out to President Trump and that, quote, this is a relationship that will be critical. Does the White House have a response to this planned outreach?
It's the first time I'm hearing of it. I'll let the president respond himself to that comment by Mr. Mamdani.
My second question, Jack Schlossberg, the grandson of President Kennedy, announced today that he's running for Congress. He in the recent past has referred to his uncle, the HHS secretary, as, quote, a rabid dog, and he has said that the Trump administration is, quote, the most corrupt in American history.
Yeah, right.
Comment on this sort of comment from a rising star in the Democratic Party.
I don't even think such ridiculous comments are worth responding to.
They're not worth
Obviously, those
responding
things are not
to.
true. And Secretary
Star
Kennedy is doing a
Democrat.
phenomenal job bringing transparency and the gold standard of science back to our healthcare system. Eamon.
Thank you, Caroline. The president's hosting a number of Wall Street CEOs for dinner tonight here at the White House. Can you give us the names of the CEOs who are going to be here and give us a sense of what the president's message to Wall Street is going to be tonight?
I don't have a full list for you in front of me, Eamon. I know you've reported on some names and we've helped you navigate whether those names were truthful or false. But I know the president actually plans to bring some of you into the dinner tonight. So you'll see for yourself in several hours if that's okay with you.
And there's been some reporting that the White House is frustrated with Bill Pulte and the rollout of this proposal for a 50-year mortgage. Can you tell us if the White House is frustrated with that rollout and if the White House still supports the idea of a 50-year mortgage for Americans?
This is a proposal that the president himself has commented on. I would defer you to the president's statements, and it's something that the administration is discussing and seriously looking into.
Agree, Wilbell.
Danny, and then
Make
go
all
ahead.
SNAP recipients reapply in person. Oh yeah.
Invited Britain's former
Don't make
Prince
it
Andrew
easy
to
on 'em.
testify on the Epstein scandal. I was just wondering if President Trump
Stop
thinks
with
that,
the
former
Epstein.
Prince Andrew should indeed come and testify to Congress on that.
I haven't spoken to him about that specific
God.
matter, but I can ask him and get back to you.
On the government shutdown, the president and House Republicans have made clear they were not going to negotiate healthcare strategy or policy while the government was shut down. Now, assuming that it reopens tonight, is the president intending to invite any Democrats over to have negotiations over these subsidies or any other plan to bring down the cost of health insurance?
He's busy
I will just
tonight.
add that, as you pointed out, the Democrats
Yeah,
are
he's
holding our
busy
country
tonight.
hostage to try to negotiate on a
have
healthcare
to get
system
on the
that they
schedule.
created. Obamacare, as it's famously called, is a system the Democrats created. It is a broken system. It has driven up healthcare costs dramatically in this country. And now they shut the government down to try to fix that system they broke. It doesn't make any sense to us, which is why the president said that's a completely
not
untenable
fix
position.
it.
However,
Just pump
once the
money
government
into it.
reopens, the president, as he's
Not
always
fix
maintained,
it.
is absolutely open to having conversations about healthcare. And I think you'll see the president putting forth some really good policy proposals the Democrats should take very seriously to fix, again, the system that they broke. You can't trust the same people who broke the system to fix it. And so the American people will
That's right,
continue
David.
to hear from the president on this issue.
One follow-up on the question about the $2,000 payments of tariff revenue. The president had also talked about using tariffs to bring down the national debt. Would this be in lieu of that? Like this is now the new way to maybe to use that tariff
No,
revenue?
the president put out a statement on this clarifying he wants to do both things with the tariff revenue that he's bringing into this country.
I love
Billions
it.
of dollars are expected to continue to pour in. And it's part of the reason that the Supreme Court case is so vital for our country's future, to restore our manufacturing industry in this country, to protect our national security, to continue to allow the president to use tariffs as leverage to negotiate economic deals that, again, are good for our national security. And that revenue can then be used for various reasons, to pay down our debt and also perhaps to give these rebate checks back to Americans, which, again, the White House is exploring the legal options of how we can get that done. Catherine, go ahead.
Caroline, Viktor Orban said this week that President Trump has promised Hungary some kind of financial shield. Do you have any details on how that will be structured or what that would look like?
I don't, but I'm happy to check with the National Security Council and get back to you.
One more. You recently said you'd check with President Trump about why he needs to get an MRI on his recent trip to Walter Reed. Do you have any more detail on that?
I do, and I'm glad you asked. As stated in the memo provided on October 10th, President Trump received advanced imaging at Walter Reed Medical Center as part of his routine physical examination. The full results were reviewed by attending radiologists and consultants, and all agreed that President Trump remains in exceptional physical health, which I know all of you will see with your own eyes later this evening when he opens up his dinner to the press, and perhaps you will see him when he signs the bill to reopen the federal government. So stay tuned on plans for that. Thank you, everyone.
All right, so, and there you heard it from Caroline. Well, what do you think about that, Michelle?
I just love that he's gonna have a big dinner with lots of people there and sign the bill in front of him.
Sign the bill
in your face.
Yeah. So I love you, Will Bell. You're right. No free phones and Wi-Fi for children of SNAP recipients, and also no tariff-free funds for SNAP recipients either. Totally agree. If you are taking from the government, you don't deserve a refund. That's for sure. I personally could use a couple $1,000s. So, all right, you guys, that was tonight's update from our beautiful Caroline Leavitt. She is amazing, and for such a young woman, she certainly has her head on straight as she battles the mainstream idiots, each one of them dumber and more self-absorbed than the next. I mean, to keep asking about this Epstein stuff, like President Trump is the one. You know, it's like the truth of the matter. And if you did listen to the Ghislaine Maxwell interview, which I listened to every second of it, and from what I heard, the Clinton Foundation was what?
Gas price.
Oh, gas prices.
It was
$2.99
over at the beach.
But Ghislaine Maxwell made it very clear that the Clinton Foundation was put together by her and Epstein. So you tell me who was in bed with Epstein. It wasn't Trump. It was all of the Clintons. It was Doug Band. All of them worked with Ghislaine Maxwell and Epstein. It's a Clinton situation.
I think Trump may have been the target.
The target of Epstein?
Yeah.
You mean if it was
going to the club?
Yeah, a honeypot situation.
Yeah, Trump makes
all the way
makes
back
it,
then. Could
yeah,
well
well,
be
fairly early in Mar-a-Lago. You know, he like I think right away he made it open to blacks and Jews. The only place.
Yes,
in
and they
Palm
didn't
Beach.
like that, did they?
No.
And like Bo just pointed out, yeah, like we weren't talking about Epstein for years before the Dems globbing on this year. And that's when they started talking about it this year. They didn't say too much before Epstein
If they had that,
killed himself.
Would they have done any of this ridiculous stuff they did? Would they have done any of that? No. If they had that.
You know, it all goes back to the fact that they tried to impeach Trump over being a Russian asset. That's what they told the whole world. President Trump was really working for the Russians, and he had to go because he was treasonous. That was their line. And when they couldn't prove that, then they looked for any other reason they could possibly
find.
find.
Make up the Russia collusion thing if she had. She would have had the documents, the Epstein documents. She would have had them.
Exactly.
Why would
they didn't
she
have
do any
anything
of that
on him?
other stuff?
Right, they didn't have anything on him. They looked, they tried, but guess what? President Trump is actually squeaky clean and does things on the up and up. Did he do things that were always fair? Maybe not. I don't know. I've heard a lot of his deals, you know, that might not have gone another person's way, but he didn't do anything illegal. I know that business is business, and he was a very savvy businessman prior to becoming president of the United States. And once he became president, the first time, he got a big dose of reality. And then they tried to kill him after they stole the second election, his second term, and they tried to kill him so that he couldn't come back and tell us all the real truth. And by the grace of God, his life was spared. And so we have him now telling us all the real truth. And it just gets dirtier and dirtier. And I don't know if you heard too. Wait, I got to look this one up. Obama, I believe, and the Hildebeest are in the news. Wait, let's look that up. Hold on. Do a little bit more news here. Oh, Jiminy Crickets. Okay. I'm looking for this news story.
It's unbelievable how many people have forgotten the Hildebeest's reputation for Hillary's side.
Yeah.
Anybody, every time somebody has something on Hillary,
Yep.
they wind up dead.
It's true.
Oddly shot, called a suicide by the park police
Here.
when there's no gun present. Vince Foster.
And finally, John came out with a huge story earlier today, of course, over at justthenews.com. The Clinton corruption files. Attorney General Pam Bondi and FBI Director Kash Patel have now shown Congress documents about former President Bill and former First Lady Hillary Clinton's foundation, and evidence that they collected donations from foreign and domestic interest-seeking influence. And the fact that AG Bondi and Director Patel just found this new cache of documents is raising concerns that this evidence was kept from previous prosecutors' investigating the Clinton Foundation and the pay-to-play allegations against the Clinton family, a decade ago. So officials familiar with the matter have said that the documents will make clear that there was some kind of effort to obstruct legitimate inquiries into the foundation by blocking real investigation by line-level FBI agents and DOJ field prosecutors and keeping them from following the money. So you can read more about this bombshell story over at justthenews.com.
Okay, so anyway, finally, yes,
John
as
huge story earlier today.
Stop. So good Lord. Anyway, yeah, so well, you can't see me. Anyway, yeah, you can see the Clintons are in the crosshairs. And God willing, the truth about them is about to come out for the rest of the world to see. Those of us who already know, of course, are sick of waiting. You know what I mean. All right, you guys. I am going to say ciao for now. That's all the news I have for you tonight. But we'll see you tomorrow on the Beach Report. Have a wonderful rest of your evening.